Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about episode 10 of Tower of God. A lot of interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, we're picking up in the aftermath of everything that went down. Obviously, and Dorsey kind of like drops the fact is like, right, this is Rachel and everything, and then Coon's like, hey, it's like, she's like, at this point everyone knows that she's the girl that Baum's been chasing after. So, and now that information out there, Coon knows what this means. Like, now that Baum's found her, now that Baum knows that it's her, it's like he's not going to climb the tower anymore. And despite everything, all the manipulating that Coon did, he stacked everything so that Baum could pass. But it's like, right, with things as they are, he'd have no reason to keep climbing the tower. Like, he's found Rachel after all. And, you know, after the way things played out, like, despite all his planning and everything, he wanted to make sure, like, Lauro was like a guaranteed pass, so he was trying to make sure that everyone else had an opportunity, that Baum had an opportunity, so he was trying to get everyone out of his way. So that's why he made some of the people on his team personally fail, just to make sure like Baum would have a better chance of winning. He obviously roped in Lauro's for help. He even got warning from Juan. I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong. The redhead with the eye patch. She was like, you don't have to worry about me, because she knew exactly what he was doing. And it's like, but you are going to have to worry about Ho. So he is the one that warned. He had picked up on it, but I don't know if Juan's warning came well before the fact, before the testing even got planned out and stuff like that. So, I mean, it might have already been at that point in time, like when the teams have been, who knows? But that's probably like, he probably got that warning, and that's why when they were in the, like, getting prepared for the test and everything, like, the teams were being divided, he looks up towards Ho. Like, that's why he knew at that time. So he was willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that Baum passed. And I think for him, he's like, I haven't changed. Here I am, like, still the manipulative bastard that I've always been, like, still going, like, using people, you know. Once again, it is the thing of, yes, he used people. Does it make it any better? But to the point, like, Ho was still someone he considered a friend, and he did that. It's like, right, I betrayed one friend to help another. It's like, I haven't changed at all. I'm still the same, aren't I? Obviously, he's just kind of drowning in his own thoughts and his own regrets about everything. But then Rock pops up, and to anyone that wasn't aware, that's why I kept being like, oh, he's such a big baby, and I love it. And yep, I love that, like, Han Sung-yu just immediately turned him in short like that. And he's just kind of, you know, he wants Kun to help him, but Kun's like, my bag can't help you with those circumstances. You're kind of stuck like that, you know? But Baum comes to them because Rock, it's like, I don't care, there is something I can do. But Kun's like, now that he's found Rachel, he's not going to climb the tower anymore. He's like, yeah, this isn't what I want. I want Baum to go with us, but he's not going to go. But Rock is like, I'm going to do whatever I can, even if I have to drag him up the tower. But Baum comes to them with the proposal that he's going to climb the tower, because it turns out Rachel can't climb anymore because her legs are, she's paralyzed and she may never walk again. So because of that, Baum wants to be her legs. It's like, I'm going to climb the tower, and I'm going to need you, can you guys lend me your strength to do it? And, you know, and it took him a while to be like, oh, Rock, what happened to you? He's like, wait, you just noticed? Oh, you rascal. But that's what I was saying before. Like, Baum was going to have to make a decision about what he was going to do. And his decision is, I'm going to climb the tower. I don't care about the stars or reaching the top of the tower, but Rachel does. So to make her dreams come true, to make what she wants a possibility, I'll climb this tower. I'll protect her. And I think that's the beauty of everything, of like, right, you know, it's really sweet sacrificing everything. But for her, you know, she cries because she's like, I abandoned you. I felt like you were going to hold me back. Like, you were, you know, and that's the irony behind it. You abandoned him, and it turns out, hey, he's the strong one in this situation. And it's like, you abandoned him to reach your goals. And now it's kind of like, right, you can do that to me now. She's like, you can abandon me. But for Baum, it's like, you're my ray of light. Like, you know, you were there on the other side when I finally escaped the darkness. You were my ray of light. I made a lot of friends, but no one could ever replace you. So I'm not going to abandon you. I'm here by your side forever, you know? Because she was saying, like, I'm not the person you love. You know, whether it's a byproduct of her own ambitions getting the best of her or it being the tower doing what it does. It twists and contorts you into someone that you weren't before. In some cases, it makes, I mean, well, because the argument could be like Kuhn's situation is because, I mean, maybe that's also why you can make the argument Baum is so special as an irregular, because he breaks the rules. He's not adherent to, like, because so many people are so desperate to get to the top of the tower, to get their dreams, to reach their goals, that they'll have to do whatever it takes to reach the top, you know, cut people loose, kill people, you know? And so, but Baum as an irregular doesn't have to follow those rules. He can kind of, you know, and Kuhn is someone who doesn't like following rules either, because those rules have kind of made the circumstances are, you know, where his family currently is, and that's why he's kind of been a rule breaker of sorts. What I think is interesting is, because listening to Baum made Kuhn think, like, right, if I had done the same thing, if I'd said the same thing to you, Maria, would things have been different? So, right, the willingness to, like, sacrifice everything, make that choice to keep going with that person. Maybe when Kuhn felt betrayed, he kind of stepped back and Maria kind of went on without him. But it's like, you know, maybe if I was willing to keep fighting, who knows how things could have turned out. They also have a funeral for Ho, despite everything, because it's like, right, he was our friend, you know, and everyone's together celebrating, drinking. Even Lauro saying to, you know, Serena, like, thanks for stopping me back then when, you know, when it was against a knock and I didn't want to back out. Thanks for that. And she's like, you're welcome, you know. And all of that, she decides to leave because for her, it's like, maybe I'll find another reason or two to survive, you know, why I survived. And for her, it's like, she doesn't feel like she's going, you know, being here isn't one of those reasons. So she's telling Shibisu to stay alive, and she gives him her knife and leaves. Once again, I don't remember Serena's circumstances afterwards. I don't know if it gotten, from where I was in the series, I don't think it ever got covered. I don't know if that's something even where the series is now. Because I actually don't know the state of this series. I think it's in, from what I glimpsed at something related to the series. I think it's in, the manhwa's in its 3rd season now, if I'm not mistaken. I was reading something that was kind of saying, like, this chapter to this chapter will be, like, this amount of chapters is season 1, this amount of chapters is season 2, and then, like, I saw something saying season 3, so it's like, I didn't even know the series had finally crossed over. Based on the chapter numbers, it seems like I was probably 3/4 of the way, kind of where I was in the story. Like I said, it was like the mid to late 200s. I was basically about probably 3/4, maybe, I'd say about 3/4 of the way through season 2 when I stopped a couple years ago. So that's just something to kind of, I now have a placeholder on just where I was in season 2. Tangents and all that aside. But putting all that aside, like, you know, despite everything, you know, Kuhn still, you know, because he found the letter about in Ho's room, and I guess he had replaced it at one point. I mean, he made a copy of it, I guess, and put it back there, and now so that Ho wouldn't know that anyone was onto him. And once again, he is the one that told Quan. But he brings it to Lero's attention. It's like, right, whoever wrote it had to be an administrator because, I mean, at least a test administrator, because Ho got that letter before the teams were even decided. So whoever it was knew that Ho and Rachel were going to be on the same team. So that obviously there's some duplicity afoot because of all of this. So we finally get it revealed who the actual person is behind it, and it's one of Jihad's, like, enforcers, essentially, pretending to be Yuga. I don't remember Yuga's circumstances, whether whether the real Yuga is dead. I think the real Yuga is dead, and that enforcer just pretending, because Han Sung-yoon is like, oh, I've known for a while, because the real Yuga is always 5 minutes early. You're not, so I've known for a while who you really are, and it's like, oh, I've been waiting an opportunity to go toe to toe with, you know, the sea eel, the deep sea eel that is you, and it's like that pet of his attacks Han Sung-yoon without even lifting a hand, and slices his head off. But for him, it's like, oh no, I'm not going to interfere. I'm actually going to help you, like, you know. Like, do whatever you need to, because for him, it's like, my job as that ill is to protect the Jihad tower, like is to get rid of anything that could be a danger to the tower. Which, because all of this is about Bomb, the whole thing was to ensure that, like, it's like, well, it looks like Bomb's going to pass. Now, whether the whole point was to make it so he would fail, I think was the whole point. But it's like, right, I'm going to give you your opportunity and stuff like that. Let's work together. And even this enforcer being like, what the hell is Han Sung-Yu's deal? Once again, that the conniving bastard, always knowing what's what. But even him being like, oh, I'm so excited. So even to the point he finished his coffee, he ended up cracking. Because he's just kind of like I think like he got too caught up in the moment. I think it's been a while since he kind of was able to kind of let loose a little bit. So against that ill, it's like, oh, I'm getting so excited about how this will turn out. So he's like, I kind of basically need to calm down a little bit. I let myself get a little too excited about it. But Lero knows, like, he's been noticing like how some use just the way he's let a lot of stuff slide and everything. So he's kind of wondering whether it was Han Sung-Yu. It's like, he's at least known about everything. He's just let everything slide. It's like, yeah, I'll even let the Fate Yuga go back to his, like, call and everything. Like I said, I think the real Yuga might be dead. I feel like I vaguely remember, like, the real Yuga popping up later on. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. He might just have been, like, pretending. I think it was also this episode that we see, like, Yuri is still continuing her journey. I do remember that being something they constantly cut back. I don't remember if they cut back to it this much, though. Like, what Yuri was up to. It's because I guess it's also like they don't want you to see a lot of, like, what the tower has in store. So it's like, to be fair, they're taking literally the back road. I feel like they might have dived into that like a one-off, like, dived into a little bit. I just don't remember if they cut back and forth to, like, Yuri's situation as much as they're doing in the show. Oh, yeah, that was also the thing, too. It's like, right, I'm supposed to be getting back the Black March and Green April, because his main goal is to kill a knock, because they can't have another, quote-unquote, imposter, like, running amok. Like, she's not supposed to exist. That's the one rule among the princesses. She's not supposed to have any children, and she is running amok with Jihad's powers. So it's like, right, she needs to be taken care of. So his main goal is to kill her and needed, like, I don't know whether it's like Bomb was meant to pass or whether he just was meant to get out of the way. Regardless, Anuck is like the main goal while also retrieving the Black March. Because also if like the Black March gets retrieved before Yuri can get it, like she'll be executed, because it's like no one's supposed to have their hands on it except for her, because Jihad decides like because she was chosen. She's one of the only ones that was actually chosen to have like a 13-month series weapon. But regardless of all of that, obviously we get the results of everything, obviously who passed, who fails, and then ultimately Michelle fails, especially because she can't walk anymore, so because of that she can't take the next test, so they automatically fail her. Ghost is going, because they still didn't get answers, because Endorser's like, I actually don't know anything about him. When I met up with Rachel, he was already with her, so she doesn't know those circumstances. So, but, when the time comes, obviously there was one guy that was like, oh, I don't like these results. And he's like, and Han Sung-Yu's like, oh, you don't? All right, if you can stand this for 1 minute, I'll change it. And Han Sung-Yu not even holding back, well, kind of holding back, but just kind of messes with the dude. It's like, kind of didn't have to be so rough about that, but I guess it's like, you got to make an example. And he's asking for his buddy for help, and he's like, Pascal or whatever, it's like, help me. And he's like, oh, Pascal, are you unsatisfied with the result? He's like, no, I'm good. That poor bastard getting dragged away like that. But at the end, Kun's like, no, I'm dissatisfied. He's like, you know what? So he learned about the administrator test from Lero. So it's like, right, he wants to take the administrator's test. Like, if he's able to pass it, then Michelle will be able to, it's like, right. It's like, why are you doing this? He's like, because my friend wants it to be that way, so I'm making it happen. And he's like, Ha Sung-Yu is like, oh, a Kun having a friend? Oh, that's so funny. Someone from your family actually having a friend. He's like, well, it's like, yeah, if you took the administrator's test, which is extremely difficult, sure, but you can't take it. The only people who can open that door are irregulars. And it's like, damn. But then Bomb's like, me, I'll take the test. It's like I said. He's like, no, but because of that, I can take the test. I'm an irregular. And everyone's like, wait, what? Laro's still asleep. I think because Kun it didn't cross his mind he knew something was up with Bomb's circumstances, but he didn't know an irregular. Like, no one would immediately go to that. But then, like, obviously, a lot of people there, like, you know, even Rock's like, what is an irregular? Is it something tasty? And, you know, Shibisu brings it up about, like, right, they are monsters who break the rules of the tower, that they are something dangerous. It doesn't necessarily make them evil, but it is a result that, you know, Leroux points out. Yes, Bomb doing what he's doing is the fastest and quickest way for you to climb the tower, but by going this route, you will forever be branded as friends to the irregular, so you'll always have that stain against you. And then Periscope is kind of like, oh, what has he ever done for me? And Hawks is like, remember, if it wasn't for Bomb, you wouldn't have passed. And he's like, you know. And then Kun does this thing. He's like, right, I'm not going to let his reputation, like, affect me. Now, this, I'm going to say it again. I could be wrong, but I'm like 90% sure, because I can never be 100% sure, because I doubt myself a lot. I believe that entire scene played out a little differently. The one where Kun's kind of trying to, he's like, oh, I can't roll with Bomb and stuff like that. And Rock calls him out. But then Shibisu stops him immediately, like, all right, you can stop the bad acting. It's like, what's going on? Yeah, they're trying to pretend like everyone else quickly figured out, like, no, we know what you're doing. You're putting up this bad acting because you're trying to get us all to surround Bomb. Like, but now we're down. We don't need your terrible acting. And it's like Rock is like, good job, Blue Turtle. Your third-rate acting worked out. He's like, shut up. I don't believe that's how that, like I said, to my recollection, I believe it actually went the opposite way in certain regards of, like, Kun's acting did work. That the entire squad believed his BS. I think Shibisu saw through it, and so did Rock. Because I think if I remember correctly, like, after it was all said and done, Rock comes back. Like I said, it could have been him or Shibisu that came back to, like, yeah, I know exactly what you did. You basically had everyone turn against you, play the role of the villain, so that everyone would, like, side with Bomb. Now, I could be mistaking this for a scene later on, because I think there is a similar circumstance a little bit later on that could fill that role. But I don't think, like I said, to my recollection of what the scene was, I think it played out. I think they made it more like, nah, everyone's willing to help Bomb without manipulation. It's like, no, we were going to help him regardless. We didn't need your manipulation. But that's also, you know, like, that's, I think, I don't know. I don't know which one I like better. Like, you get the same result because they all say a resounding yes. I even love Homedew being like, nah, that's why I denied. That's why I was like, nah, to his help, and everyone else was looking at him like, shut up. And he's like, So he's kind of looked upon as the villain, but Kun played that role because I think it fits the character of, like, right, I'm willing to do whatever is necessary. You know, once again, manipulate, even if I get cast in the role of the villain, if it means, you know, because my friend is going to need everyone's help and support to, like, make it through this. And if I can get them all on his side, like I said, I think it's Rock that saw through his BS at the end of it all, and he talks to Kun at the end, like, I saw what you did there, Blue Turtle. I don't think it was Shibisu. Like, Shibisu may have seen through it. I don't remember if he's the one that, like I said, I'm fairly certain that's how it worked out in the manhwa, and, you know, so, like I said, I'm pretty sure they shifted that for their anime, which is an interesting direction. Like I said, not unless I'm mistaking it for something later on, but obviously, Hansung, you already had an idea about Bomb being irregular. This just confirms it. Just kind of, it also just puts it out there in the open, but it's just, once again, it's just like he's got his conniving ways. We already know of all the manipulation he's got running behind the scenes. So now, because I think even Leroux was thinking for a while that Bomb might be one, but now, once again, it just confirms the suspicions. Like, no one on the team was that much wiser. Leroux's just sleeping away, doesn't care, or maybe he knew on some level. But, Bomb is taking the administrator test so that Michelle can eventually climb. So we'll see how everything pans out next episode. I obviously have an idea of how it pans out, but just a lot of interesting developments and reveals in this episode. It's going to be interesting to see where the next episode takes us with all of this. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.